Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. And of course, joining me here on a Monday, do a great weekend wrap up sports. Jason Cameron, fresh off a long day at work. Limited time with Jason, so we got to get right at it tonight. How was the weekend? How was your day?
Weekend was good. It was quiet. A lot of it was taken up with watching like sports, and which is always fun. It was good.
Yeah.
But that was good. And then today at work was busy, and then tomorrow is busy, and it's going to be busy. But at the same time, I'm extremely grateful for the work because,
Nice.
as you know, it's extremely slow in our industry right now. Like it's on another level of slow. So
Yeah.
it's anything that I actually get is a blessing because I'm lucky to get anything, to be honest with you.
No kidding.
Completely.
Yeah. Well, good for you, man. Glad you got it. And yeah, it's 1 month today till Christmas Day. Can you believe how fast it's coming?
No, I can't because it's always just creeps up on you Christmas where you're just like, oh yeah, that's right. I got a lot of stuff to buy for people. Good. I can't wait.
Great. Yeah. And it's Thanksgiving week down south for our American neighbors. And Black Friday. There's 3 football games on Thursday and one on Friday. They decided to put a game on Black Friday. The Chiefs and the Raiders will play standalone game Friday starting at noon our time.
Okay, I you know what? I can kind of understand Chiefs Raiders, which is Chiefs fans will watch, Raiders fans will weep. It'll be fun because you know what the outcome's already going to be.
Yeah.
I'm a Mahomes win. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Mahomes will win, but he'll probably just win by 1 or 2 points.
Like he
This
always
whole
does.
entire season, they've just barely squeaked out all their wins. So even against the Panthers this week, which was pretty bizarre. Yeah. So
Super weird, but
I don't know how they're doing it. They're winning all their games, but just by the hair of Mahomes' chinny chin chin.
yeah, it's so weird to me because you're just like, well, how are they doing this again? But at the end of the day, they keep winning.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
incredible. Yeah, it's
it's
pretty wild.
incredible to see. Yeah.
Few news and notes from around the lower mainland here, Vancouver, our teams. Vancouver Canucks, they've been hit by the injury bug quite badly lately, losing Brock Besser. They had JT Miller take some personal time. Obviously, Thatcher Demko still hurt. On Saturday night, Quinn Hughes ended up getting ejected from the game, his first ever ejection. He hit his old college roommate from behind. The guy ended up face first into the boards, cut himself pretty badly. Quinn's not a dirty guy. It wasn't really a bad hit, but just because the guy got injured, hitting and blood, they ended up kicking him out of the game. That was an interesting little conversation and hug after the game between the two former college roommates. I think it's water under the bridge. But luckily, even with the Canucks missing their best player, some of their top line and their top goalie, they were still able to get the victory.
Nice.
Yeah.
First off, that's awesome that they rallied to do that.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that his old college roommate knew he's not a dirty player. I know he didn't mean to do that because, like, at the end of the day, they're still friends. It's like, nah, he didn't really mean to hurt me. It's hockey. It happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The other cool thing that happened was they had to call up because of the missing some of the guys. They had to call up a guy from Abbotsford. Abbotsford was on the road. They were about to play a road game down south, and they made an emergency call up for this kid, Max Sasson. He was able to come up. His whole family was able to come up from the States, fly into Ottawa, and watch the game. He got a point on one of the first couple goals, and man, his family were jumping around, high-fiving each other. Tears were shed. I could see his dad with tears in his eyes, and it was awesome. They did a post game interview with him, and they showed him some video of his family jumping around, and he said, "Yeah, those are my biggest fans, and so awesome. My dad got to be here for my NHL debut, and it was really heartwarming. The kid seems very cool, very humble." And his family was just in heaven watching him in the NHL for the first time.
You know what? It's always a big deal. Like when you see like if you're the parents and you see your kids' dreams come true right in
Yeah.
front of you,
Awesome.
and knowing that you were a part of making that happen by just being there and just being cool parents and being great parents,
Yeah.
it's you sharing the joy
Yeah.
because that's what he wanted and he succeeded in that.
Yeah, dream come true. Yeah, like a lot of these guys, set a dream when they were young guys, 5, 6, 7 years old, and it comes true. That's, they know how much hard work it took, and to finally get there is pretty incredible. Some other good news for the Canucks. Brock Besser is finally full practicing with the team. Looks like he will be coming back tomorrow for the first time. He's missed 7 games for the Canucks. He was 40 goal scorer last year, one of their top guys, and he's been sorely missed from them, suffering from that concussion from November 7th. So good to see that it looks like he'll finally be back tomorrow.
That's awesome. That's awesome that he's finally over that because concussions can go as long as they go.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that he's recovered and he's going to be joining the team very soon.
Yeah. So they're will be their second game. There's only 1 game so far into their 6-game road trip. They play in Boston tomorrow, one of their big time rivals. And Connor Garland is also back. He had his first child, and he named Quinn Hughes the Godfather, and he named the kid Quentin Garland after Quinn Hughes. So even though Quinn Hughes got ejected the other night, he became Godfather that same day. Kind of cool.
Very cool. Very cool. And great that the organization gave Connor the time to say, hey, this seems like it's pretty important. So we're going to give you some time.
Gotta get some time off. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. Very nice. Some other news in the Lower Mainland here. Today, the Vancouver Whitecaps decided that they needed to part ways with their head coach, Vanni Sartini. He had been here for 3 seasons, won 3 straight Canadian championships with the Whitecaps. The Whitecaps were projected to be one of the top teams in the Western Conference, even in the league in MLS this year. Started out pretty good, had a really tough middle part of the season and last stretch run as well. And even though they won a couple playoff games, he walked the plank today. They will be on the search for a new head coach. Really too bad. Really loved the guy. I think he was awesome at promoting the team. I think he was one of the best colorful figures they've had in a long time. Had a lot more success than a lot of the head coaches that Vancouver's had over the years, but that bad stretch run right before the playoffs really, I guess, just sealed his fate. And he will not be the coach anymore.
It's a results-driven league, and he didn't get the results that you needed to keep coaching. And also, too, just the way that they played, it's not entertaining at all.
No, it was tough. Yeah, it was very tough. I really started getting pretty disillusioned by them. Even though they had a great playoff showing, they just couldn't do it. LAFC seemed beatable after the Whitecaps were able to hold them close first game, beat them the second game. They should have been able to maybe knock them off because Seattle has now knocked off LAFC and has sent them home. So it was there. I guess they realized that he just didn't get the results enough, and he's gone. That came on the heels of the BC Place roommates. The BC Lions fired their head coach and co-general manager Rick Campbell a few days before that. So both teams out of BC Place searching for new coaches. The Lions, after getting Nathan Rourke back from the U.S., from the NFL, I think they thought they were going to go on a big run. They didn't. They flamed out in the playoffs, and that sealed his fate. It looks like Buck Pierce is the leading candidate to take over. Buck was a quarterback for the BC Lions for most of his career, went to Winnipeg and became a coach there. He's their offensive coordinator now for the Bombers, but it looks like he will be the first choice for the Lions to take over for Campbell.
That sounds like that's a very good choice because the Bombers have been going to the Grey Cup for a number of years now.
Yeah,
So that's very good.
very
Good
smart.
news for
Yeah.
the Lions.
Yeah, good deal. So yeah, so that's some local news here. Let's talk about some of the things that were happening around the sporting world. We had the F1 down in Las Vegas. It was a star-studded affair. I could not believe all the people that showed up for F1 down there. Still, Sylvester Stallone actually waved the checkered flag to celebrate the guys going across the finish line. That was pretty neat. I saw John Legend, Rihanna, uh, Justin Bieber, Adele, Paris Hilton, Jared Leto, Patrick Dempsey, Stevie Aoki, on and on, Gordon Ramsay, on and on and on. Just so many celebs were there. A huge, amazing race. They had it at night because they're worried about the heat of the day. And for some reason, the coldness ended up helping Mercedes. They ended up 1-2 in the race and ended up getting on the podium, winning the race. George Russell was first, Lewis Hamilton was second, and Ferrari's Carlos Sainz was third. But the huge news was that Max Verstappen has finally been able to capture his fourth straight drivers' championship. He was able to hold off Lando Norris and win it all. He's the second youngest driver to ever win 4 championships. And Sebastian Vettel did it a little bit earlier than he did, but incredible run for Red Bull and Max getting the drivers' championship. He won 7 out of the first 10 races, went 2 months without winning a race, and then finally it came back together near the end of the season, and he captured the title again. And yeah, congratulations, Max and the Red Bull team.
Yeah, congratulations to him. Although it wasn't easy, wasn't as easy as has been like for past seasons. And I have a sneaking suspicion that the next season it'll be really hard for him to win
Tough.
again.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very, very tough. Incredibly tough. But yeah, it was awesome to watch an incredible race. The Constructors' Championship is still very much up in the air. McLaren fell down the list in this race, and Ferrari has been able to catch up. They are sitting in McLaren's in first place with 608 points. Ferrari's second with 584. So only 24 points back with 2 races to go. And Red Bull has fallen all the way to third with 555 points. Mercedes, with their top 2 finishes, have climbed up into fourth place, easily in fourth, 425 points. So it'll be interesting to see the last 2 races of the year. They head over to the Middle East, Abu Dhabi, and it'll be, yeah, pretty wild to see how it finishes. The Constructors' Championship should be very hotly contested at the end there. And then the other drivers would be trying to get into different positions. You get a lot more money the higher up the standings you finish. So I'm sure there'll be, yeah, some really great races to watch, even though Max has already won the whole championship.
Still plenty to race for, and there's still a lot to gain for every team.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. PGA Championship had its last tournament of 2024. It was the 47th tournament of 2024, and Maverick McNeely won his first tournament ever. Finished -16, 1-shot lead over 3 golfers. Nicholas Echeverria, Daniel Berger, and Luke Clanton all finished tied for second. Canadian Mackenzie Hughes was in the mix for this entire tournament. He ended up finishing 2 shots back, 14 under, tied for 5th place, and had a fantastic season. Other 2 Canadian golfers, Adam Hadwin and Adam Svensson, both finishing a tie for 53rd place. It also set the table for the top 50, the top 70, 100, 125, and 150. All different types of exemptions you get in that those different areas, and money will be coming forward to so many of these guys. Those top 50 guys get into all the signature events and the majors. The top 70 have a few, quite a few exemptions too. Top 100, and then the top 125 all keep their card for next year. They will all be exempt into all the the main tournaments, and it was fun to watch. They kept showing throughout the coverage the guys going up and down these leaderboards, and some of the guys that were on the bubble. It's pretty neat to watch at the end of the year when guys are that close to either falling out or falling in. It's pretty wild.
No, and that's cool, and that's what makes it exciting to see. Hey, is my guy going to make it, or is my guy going to place?
Yeah.
All those things are cool to see and watch. And by the way, I think that dude that won, Maverick McNeely, that's as golf a name as I've ever heard in my
Yeah,
life.
I know,
Yeah.
isn't that cool? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. His parents must have known. Hey, I'm gonna
You
get
must
this
have known
guy
something.
get into
Yeah.
golf. Yeah, let's name him Maverick McNeely. Yeah, pretty cool. In the tennis world, the final individual tournament happened last weekend, and the team tournaments ended up this week. On the men's side, the Davis Cup was played, and Italy won their second straight title. The Italian women won on their side the Billie Jean King Cup. So Italy is the #1 tennis nation in the world, both men and women. The men won it for the second straight time, as I said, and that hasn't been done in like 30 years. So pretty impressive, very incredible. That Italy is the best tennis nation on the planet. I wouldn't have guessed that years ago.
I never would have guessed that years ago. I never would have guessed that even now. But they've done it. They're the
Yeah.
best.
They are the best. Incredible. Okay, we've got some NBA to talk about a little bit. It's been an interesting week. Obviously, the NBA Cup has been top of mind for a lot of people. I'm really loving the games. I'm really loving the courts. I'm really loving how competitive it is. Really been fun to watch that second week. Really solidified it. And the Golden State Warriors are the only team so far to advance. For sure, they're going into the playoff portion of the Cup. They won their first 3 games. And the New Orleans Pelicans are the only team that have been eliminated so far. So the rest of the 28 teams in the NBA are still in the mix, and there'll be some great games to watch this week. It's been a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of people comment on how much they're enjoying it, how much they love the courts, and they think that this has added so much of a dimension to the season and to the league.
It's added a new dynamic, and I think it's a dynamic that's greatly appreciated by us hoop fans
Yeah.
that needed that, because now these guys have games that mean something at the beginning of the season, and it's just a wonderful thing to see.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, been amazing. Yeah. NBA Players of the Week, we had in the Western Conference, we had Harrison Barnes, San Antonio Spurs. He had 22.3 points, 8.7 rebounds, and he shot 62% from the field, leading the Spurs to a 3-0 record. I couldn't believe they beat the Warriors the other night. Warriors are up by 17, and somehow the Spurs were able to utilize their youth and Wembanyama, everybody else, and obviously Barnes, former Warrior, able to get Player of the Week. Very impressive for this veteran.
Yeah, super impressive. He obviously still has a lot to give for the team that he's now currently on. And it's great to see that Wembanyama was back on the court, because I think he had some time off due to injury. And so he was back out there.
Yeah. Player of the Week in the Eastern Conference goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He led the Milwaukee Bucks to a 4-0 record, 32.5 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 7.3 assists, and shot 61% from the field. The Bucks are 7-3 in their last 10 and have won 5 in a row. Maybe Doc Rivers has staved off his job, and they've actually climbed up into 6th place in the NBA East. That's pretty impressive. Somehow turned it around.
Yeah, somehow they've turned it around, but the Eastern Conference is still so much weaker than the West. So I think that had a part to play in it. But also, too, at the same time, Giannis is playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Like, the team may not be, luckily the team has turned a corner. They're playing well now, but he's been playing like that, lights out, the entirety so far of the season.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Oh, I did want to mention, I went to an amazing concert on Friday night. A band called Took. where do you think Tuke's from?
Well, Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious, eh? Great name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's Canadian for sure. Yeah.
Canadian for sure.
They played a lot of their original stuff and as well as classic Canadian rock from years gone by, mostly the 80s. And it was awesome, an amazing show. We got to see them this summer, and then they just recently announced that they were coming for a one-off show here. And we had an absolute ball. It was really good. We went to the casino in Coquitlam, the old
Hard Rock.
Hard Rock.
Yeah, no, the Hard Rock is a great venue. It's a
Yeah.
great place. And yeah, it's just an awesome venue. I've been there. I've heard some bands there. It's good stuff.
It's really great there. Yeah, incredible. Everybody's talking about this upcoming Taylor Swift show, December 5th and 6th. I noticed the tickets were going for over $100,000 online for the show.
Wait, what did you just say? You said one singular ticket
Yeah,
was worth 100 grand.
100,000. Yeah. Yeah.
That does. I'm sorry, but that doesn't make any sense. Like there's no concert that's ever been around that's actually worth that much money.
No.
Like anybody that pays that, it's just like I guess you just have money to waste. That's pretty cool. That's a down payment for a house.
Yeah,
Like, what are we talking
will
about?
you be able to see it up here? Is it?
Man, I see a lot of white.
Just
I
a white.
know it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can make out
that's
Taylor Swift.
unfortunate. But yeah, I see this online here. Over
So
100.
So that's a ticket that's like front row or in the VIP or in the box, right? Like that's not
God.
just a normal ticket.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I went looking for tickets for the same night that Tuke was playing, Bruce Springsteen was playing downtown, and I had forgotten about it. And they made an announcement. Hey, aren't you glad you're rather here than Bruce Springsteen? And then I went, oh crap! I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see Springsteen. I almost just jumped in the car and drove down there. Yeah, if I would have had
Gotta
tickets.
go.
But they had a couple tickets that were kind of reasonable, but it said restricted view, and I think that meant behind the stage. And then they had tickets that were good in good spots, and they were like 1,000 each or something. So I thought, no, I can't do that. Same kind of thing happened when I was watching the F1 on Saturday night. I thought, oh man, I wonder what it would have cost me to go down there. And so I started looking for tickets, and I wasn't able to buy any tickets anymore for 2024. So it said, oh, buy 2025. So I thought, okay, sure. I'll buy a 3-day pass for 2025. It was $20K. It was $20,000. So I'm just like, oh my God, like how can these, how can these artists and these sporting events just, put out this kind of, ticket price offer and people got the money to buy it? It's insane. It's unreal.
Yeah, there's a lot of rich people out there.
Yeah.
Like a lot of rich people that can just be like, yeah, I'll just write that off. It's not a big deal. Because you're saying that was the minimum? That's where it started?
That's where it started for this 3-day pass. Yeah, for this 3-day pass. And it was 2025. So, it can't be sold out already. It can't be, I don't think everybody's bought them and now it's the secondary market. Like that was what they were putting it up over price. It was like, wow, holy shit.
Well, you know what? I guess that's how they make their money. That's why they make so much money. Because
they had an attendance for the weekend of 306,000. So I was trying to see, like,
wait,
what a big 306,000 people were there. And so I was trying to see, okay, $100 a piece, it would create 30 million bucks. So I'm like, okay, that's 30 million for just that one race. But then I'm like, no, it's not even, it's, 10, 15, 20 times that. Like they're making hundreds of millions of dollars for that race. So yeah, it's big bucks when you can attract that kind of crowd. Like Taylor Swift's been attracting sold out shows across the world for, a few years and on this complete tour. So, I guess I can see it, but it's just becoming just incredibly outrageous. You and I talk about sports every week and the massive amounts of, contracts these guys are getting, but now the tickets, are just having to reflect it. It's insane.
Yeah, well, it's insane because it's like I'm sorry, but you can't, like, if you're just a hardworking individual, blue collar,
Yeah.
you can't take your family to
You're
these
not
sports
going, you're not
anymore.
going anywhere. You just might as well buy a big
No.
house and just stay home because you ain't going nowhere.
Buy yourself a great entertainment system, watch it on the TV, because that's what I
Exactly.
can afford.
That's all you're gonna do. Yeah. Make sure you get a nice sound system, nice big TV. Just pretend you're out because you're not going out anymore.
No, heck no, man. Like, could you imagine if you had daughters and they're like, I want to go see Taylor Swift? I'm like, well, you better phone into the radio station, honey, and try to win some
Win,
free tickets.
win tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the
No,
only way we're going.
no
It's the only
kidding.
way that
Yeah.
happens.
Unreal. Speaking of home entertainment, I just got to tell you about this one show I saw this weekend. Just came out. Do you got Paramount? Do you get that streaming service? Oh, okay. Well, Paramount has been really taken over by this guy, Taylor Sheridan, and he's been able to just get show after show after show that's been blowing up. Obviously, Yellowstone and all the spin-offs from
Yeah,
that show have been massive, but he's also created a lot of other shows. Tulsa King with Sylvester
yeah.
Stallone. King, no, mayor of what's it called? Mayor of King City. That's a phenomenal show. Special
Is that the one?
Ops.
Is that the one with Jeremy Renner?
Yes, Jeremy Renner. Yeah. It's unreal, and this one's called Landman, and Billy Bob Thornton is the main guy. Also, John Hamm and Demi Moore are
Oh,
two of the other big stars in it. Billy Bob Thornton plays a phenomenal lead role. I watched 2 episodes, and amazing. I think the show's going to be incredible. It's set in Texas, oil guys, and yeah, I loved it. Couldn't believe how great it is. Hopefully you can find it on one of your streaming services.
no. Is it a period piece since it's about oil? Or is it modern day?
Modern day. Modern day.
Modern day. Ah, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I remember the last oil kind of show that I watched, but it was a long time ago with Daniel Day-Lewis. Let There Be Blood.
Mm,
That
very
that
good.
was
Yeah.
that was very, very good.
Yeah. They call that one of the greatest shows ever made, really. That's what I've heard from a lot of people.
Yeah, because it is, and that
Yeah.
guy's like that good.
Yeah.
He's that.
Incredible. Yeah, Paramount has just sort of handed the keys over to Taylor Sheridan, and he's just taken and run with it. So many shows, so much popularity, and this one's huge. I saw Billy Bob. I think I told you I saw Billy Bob perform in Delta in the summer. He has a band that he's the lead singer for, and he came and performed, and it was a really good show.
Nice. Well, you know what? Like he's been doing that for like a number of years. Like
Long
been
time.
a musician and everything else. So
Yeah.
that's cool that you managed to find him at in Delta.
Yeah, and Delta. Yeah, pretty strange. Actually, it was like Ladner. So yeah, part of Delta.
Yeah.
Pretty bizarre. And yeah, but love that show. Landman. Anybody that's watching, try to find it. I highly recommend it. Just came out. Okay, and other NBA news and notes. Warriors still leading the NBA Western Conference. They have a record of 12-4, even though they blew that 17-point lead against the Spurs. Still are 7-3 in their last 10, 3-0 in NBA Cup, as I mentioned, and they host the Nets tonight, first team to advance. They were dealt a big blow that DeAnthony Melton was injured, but Lindy Waters has stepped up and become quite the great piece. And we've mentioned this a couple times. Steve Kerr is just utilizing their bench incredibly well, mix and matching, putting the pieces together, and they're still doing really well. And you're keeping the guys fresh, other than Melton getting hurt. But this Lindy Waters, I guess he was a Uber guy.
Yeah,
Maybe like
DoorDash.
yeah, DoorDash.
Delivery guy.
Just last year, it's pretty incredible that they were able to find him on the scrap heap and bring him in, and he's been playing really great.
He's been playing lights out, man. Like the fact that it's like, yeah, just like a year and a half ago, I was doing DoorDash. Now I'm in the NBA. Like it's an incredible story.
No.
It's awesome. And the fact that he probably is playing with one of his idols in Steph Curry and just been like, now I get to learn from you. At the same time, Steph is like, and because you're so good, you're good enough, I don't have to kill myself with the minutes.
Yeah.
This is great. It's a win-win. Like Steve Kerr is just the genius when it comes to that kind of stuff. Realizing that he's got older guys that he can't just kill during the regular season. He needs them for the playoffs, so he needs them somewhat fresh.
Yeah.
And utilizing the bench and knowing that he actually has a bench to utilize, which is the most amazing thing out of all of this.
Amazing.
Yeah, Golden State's in a very good place right now.
I love it. Yeah. I think you sent me this actually. This was a really interesting aspect. In 2015, 2016, the Golden State Warriors led the NBA with 31.6 3-point attempts per game. That's the year that they won their first championship. This year, the Toronto Raptors average about exactly the same, 31.1 3-point attempts per game, and that's last in the NBA. And that's last now in the NBA. How much Steph Curry came in, started jacking up threes. Well, every team now does it, and they were first. Now that's last, and all the other teams. Boston, I think, is first with jacking up 50 something per game. But isn't that bizarre how much it's changed since 2015, 2016? We're not even talking 10 years, and the evolution is just insane.
It is insane. And it's insane like how much the game has shifted to you got to be shooter. You got to be a shooter.
Yeah.
Like at all positions. It's not just at one or like all positions. You got to have shooters.
Speaking of shooters, Tajay Moore from Vancouver Bandits is now with the Portland Trailblazers. Got his first NBA buckets the other night this season, and looked great doing so. The guy's fantastic to watch. Love watching him with the Bandits. I hope he has a really great, long, illustrious career. Thank you so much for coming to Vancouver and helping us have a very successful year. And really nice to see him. I saw his athleticism. I saw the incredible skill that he could provide, and I'm glad that he was able to get back into the NBA and looking like with Portland, he'll get a good run.
And also, too, it's awesome to see that him playing for the Bandits helped him get back into the league. So good for him.
Very cool. I was very happy to see that. OKC is also 12-4. They didn't play this weekend. They played today in Sacramento. And then the big game against Golden State is on Wednesday, which will be great. That'll be for a battle for first place. They're only 1-1 in the NBA Cup so far, but they welcomed back Isaiah Hartenstein. That was huge. After losing Chet Holmgren, he was able to play 29 minutes in his first game, get 13 points and 14 boards. So incredible that he was able to step in right when they lost Holmgren, and they shouldn't miss a beat with him as long as he can stay healthy too.
Absolutely. As long as he can stay healthy, they should be fine till Chet comes back, whenever that is. And it's good timing, fortuitous timing that he was able to come back when he did.
Yeah, very good. Houston Rockets sit in third place, 12-6. They lost to the Blazers yesterday, and Fred VanVleet got in a lot of trouble. He got very frustrated, went over and shoved his finger right into the face of the official, almost poked his eye out. It was so like jabby, and he got fined $50K today for that. And there was talk that he might get suspended too. They decided they wouldn't suspend him, but a little lighter. He's a little bit frustrated too. He's not having a very good start to the season. Doesn't look comfortable, and I'm not sure exactly why.
Yeah, he's having a rough start to the season. I think that frustration has boiled over, and unfortunately, it came out on the refs in the wrong way. Hopefully, he gets his game back together, as we know he can play, but it's been a very rough start for him. Very rough start.
Very rough. Yeah. Lakers are fourth. Their LA brothers, the Clippers, sit in fifth. Clippers have won 5 in a row, and they look really good. I'm very impressed with how much they've come together. The Nuggets are sitting in sixth with a 9-6 record, but 7-3 in their last 10. Jokic is back after missing 3 games with the birth of his son. He played Friday and Saturday. Friday, 33 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists. And on Saturday, He didn't get a triple double. Oh no, but 34 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. The guy's probably going to break Russell Westbrook's record for most triple doubles in a season. And yeah, didn't even miss a beat. Missed 3 games with the birth of his son. Came back and had 2 phenomenal games already.
I think he goes to like the Nuggets and says, "Well, you know, I'm about to have my second child, so I'm gonna leave. You don't actually have a say. I'm just gonna leave, and then when I come back, I'll dominate like I've been doing anyways, right?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Okay, that sounds great,
Okay.
Nicola. We'll see
Whatever
you
you
when you
need.
come back. Have
Yeah.
fun."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he calls the shots there. They might as
Oh
well
yeah,
just name him GM, head coach,
yeah.
everything, president. Let's give him every title on the organization.
Now, here's another stat for you. Apparently, when he's in the offense or in the game for the Nuggets, they have the highest offensive rating,
In the
period,
league. Yeah.
in the league.
When
And when
he's
he's out, the
the
lowest
worst,
offensive
the
rating,
worst.
the
Yeah, I
worst,
saw that.
the
I saw
worst.
that. Like the worst in the NBA when he's off the floor, the best when he's on. It's unbelievable. Unreal.
And the difference is like 40 to 50 points.
Yeah.
It's just it's so ridiculous. You're just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That guy makes that much of yes, he does.
Yeah.
Then that's why he's the best. That's why I think he's the best player in the league right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope we see 4 to 5 Jokic's within the next half a dozen years. Like I think somehow it's gonna spawn a different type of player that other organizations have never really looked at, maybe given chances to. I think it's incredible what he's doing, and he's not the most athletic guy. He just
Nope.
figures out how to be the best at all aspects of the game. So well rounded, it's incredible. And game after game after game, he's better than anybody else that he faces.
His basketball IQ is through the roof.
Yeah.
And he's got some of the best hands I've ever seen on a big man ever.
Yeah.
Volleyballs the ball to himself off of rebounds. He can catch anything, anywhere, at any time. And as he said before in his own words, when I pass the ball, it just goes where I want it to go.
Yeah.
What, you can't do that?
Yeah. Seems pretty simple to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that's what I do.
There was a play this weekend where they only had 0.3 seconds left, 0.3. So you don't have enough time to actually grab it and shoot with that.
You got to.
And yeah, did you see that he just said, okay, throw it high, and they threw it high, and he just palmed it like a volleyball, and it went about like 80 feet, and it almost went in. It was like from his end of the court, and he was just like, okay, I'm gonna try this, and he just wow, and it sailed towards the hoop and almost went in. It was brilliant, genius, incredible. I was like, wow, I've never seen anybody even try it.
That's the awesomeness about Nicola, where he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a shot. See what happens. I might go in. And it almost did.
Yeah. Yeah. He's brilliant. Just love it. Incredible guy to watch, and so glad he's in the league, doing well again and again, year after year. Good news for the Memphis Grizzlies, who sit 7th. John Morant will finally return after missing 8 games. He had a severe hip dislocation and some pelvic injuries. Very nice to see that he will finally be back. Unfortunately, Zach Edey will miss some games. He's injured. They play Portland tonight, but very big for the Grizzlies getting Ja back.
Yeah, that's huge. And plus, on top of that's an awful injury. Hip dislocation. That sounds very uncomfortable.
Not very good at all. No.
Yeah.
Very, very bad. Yeah. The Mavs sit 9th. And the Mavs and the Spurs sit 9th and 10th. They are 9-8 record. 11 and 12 sit with the Wolves and the Kings. They're both 8-8. And then the last teams are the Jazz and the Pels. They round out the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, Cleveland Cavaliers are still top, 17-1, 9-1 in their last 10, and last couple. The last loss was that Tuesday game to the Celtics, but hell of a game. What a great game
Okay.
that ended up being. Celtics pretty much led, I think, the entire game.
Entire game.
And
Yeah.
but the Cavs just
That,
kept coming,
that,
kept coming. Just never could quite get there and get
yeah.
above them. But
Yeah.
hell of a great game.
Great game. Great. It just demonstrated why those two teams are the best in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it did.
They play again December the 1st, so that's coming up Sunday. So that will be great. Celtics are just 2.5 games back, 14-3 record, 5-game win streak. Nice win yesterday over Minnesota. Jaylen Brown had 29 points and Tatum had 26. And big rumor that Kristaps Porzingis is ready to play and could be returning as early as this week. That's like a month and a half earlier than a lot of people expected. So amazing. This just came out of the blue today, and I was really quite surprised to hear that he's pretty much ready to step on the court.
I am actually surprised to hear that too as well, because I was expecting him to still have a lot more time left. But that's frightening because the Celtics are, hold on a second, they're 15-3 without him.
Yeah.
That's that. If I'm anybody else in the league, I'm terrified because it's like, oh, so they just got better. Cool. Right on.
Oh, he did play today, actually. He did play
played.
today. Yeah, they were able to get a 126-94 victory over the Clippers. He ended up playing 23 minutes, had 16 points and 16 rebounds. So, no, and 6 rebounds, sorry. 16.6 rebounds for Porzingis, 23 minutes in his return. So, look out. He's back. You should have got some victories against the Celtics while he wasn't in there. Now everyone's in big trouble. This team is going to start rolling, and the Titanic battle between Cleveland and Boston this year is going to be incredible to watch.
It's going to be incredible to watch, but also too, now that Porzingis is back, I think you can expect a lot more teams getting slaughtered. Yeah. Because it sounds like the Clippers got slaughtered in that game.
Yeah, they sure did. That's 32-point loss. So
it's going to be a lot of that.
Not good. And Clippers were good coming out of the gate here. So Magic are still missing Paolo Banchero. He's missing his 14th game tonight. Also, Wendell Carter Jr. Has some plantar fasciitis troubles, and he's missing some more games. So hopefully the Magic can get back healthy. They're sitting in third place in the Eastern Conference, but with missing some of their key pieces, it's pretty surprising they're doing so well. The Knicks are sitting in fourth place. The Heat are fifth, the only team that's 500 or better. Everyone else is lower than 500. I mentioned the Bucks already, sitting in sixth at 8-9, but winning 5 in a row. The Hawks and the Pacers both sit 7-10. Pacers Halliburton, he's still struggling big time. Not sure what's wrong there. Then we got the Bulls and the Pistons sitting at 7-11. Nets, Hornets, Raptors, Sixers, and Wizards. Wizards are in big trouble. 0-10 last 10 games, 2-13 on the year. For the Hornets, I did want to mention Brandon Miller did something that only one NBA player's ever done in the NBA history. This past weekend, he had a 3-game span where he shot 56% from the field, 56, a little over 55% from 3, and 100% from the line. It's only been done by Steph Curry, who's done it 3 times in his career. So pretty amazing that Brandon Miller is the only other guy other than Steph to have a line like that. They always talk about the 50-40-90 as being, those elite guys, but 56, 55, and 100, pretty incredible numbers.
Yeah, that is incredible numbers. And it's cool that he managed to get into a conversation with Steph Curry at the same time. Because I know who's going to be the next guy to do that again. It'll probably be Steph Curry.
Yeah, right. No kidding. Yeah, I'll do it 4 times. I'll do it 5 times. If Steve Kerr played Steph more, he'd probably do it every week, probably. Yeah,
exactly.
It's unreal. Yeah. Okay, that's the NBA story for now. Let's talk about the NHL super briefly. They don't do players of the week on the eastern side and the western side. They do stars of the week. They do first star, second star, third star, just like at the end of every game. First star of the week was Zach Werenski. He's a defenseman for the Columbus Blue Jackets. In 3 games, he had 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points, led Columbus to a 3-0 record. Super stud defenseman there, and tied for the most points in those 3 games in the week. Second star goes to Mikko Rantanen, the winger for Colorado. Also had the same numbers, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points in 3 games, leading the Avs to a 3-0 record. And he's 4th in the NHL in overall points, has 32 points in 21 games, 14 goals, and 18 assists. And the third star of the week was the Toronto Maple Leafs goaltender Joseph Woll. He was just phenomenal this week, stopping 54 of 56 shots, 2-0 record. Had 1 shutout. The other game let in 2 goals, a .964 save percentage, and leading the Toronto Maple Leafs to first place in the Atlantic. 4 straight wins for them, even though they're missing tons of guys. Austin Matthews is still hurt. I think they've lost 7 regular forwards off this team, and a couple defensemen. And it's incredible what he's been able to do to help them keep going along. And leading the Atlantic Conference, sitting second in the entire East, 13-6-2 record.
That's amazing. That's utterly amazing. He's standing on his head,
Yeah.
considering the amount of injuries that the team has suffered. Yeah. That's very, very impressive.
Unreal. Yeah, really wild. It's been fantastic to watch the NHL come together this season. The Jets are still sitting first place by far, having a fantastic run, 17-4 on the year, plus 34. They've scored 34 more goals than they've let in, and still really, really good. Golden Knights are sitting second, and Minnesota Wild's third. The Jets and the Wild are playing each other tonight. Should be a fantastic game. Calgary Flames are playing really good. They've won 4 in a row, and they are sitting in 4th place. Great on the Flames. Dallas sitting 5th. LA's 6th. Colorado 7th. Oilers 8th, and the Canucks have fallen down to 9th place. But Canucks have played much better on the road now, as I mentioned. 1 game into a 6-game road trip, so it should be very fun to watch. Sitting down in 13th place in the conference is the St. Louis Blues. They fired their head coach Drew Bannister today and hired Jim Montgomery, who just got fired in Boston only 5 days ago. So they realized when Jim hit the unemployment line, hey, I think he's better than our guy. Let's get him in here. Let's fire our guy. Let's get him in here. It was a quick transition to not be out of work very long for Montgomery. Pretty nice. He signed a 5-year contract with St. Louis just today.
Wow. So they really want to lock him up because they know it's like, yeah, we're not doing so hot. So make us better, please. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Boom. He came in quick and did that. Okay. On the eastern side, the Devils lead the conference. Toronto second, as I mentioned. Carolina is third, but Carolina is in big trouble now. They've lost 2 of their top goaltenders in the past few days. They lost their number 1 goaltender, Frederick Anderson. He has to undergo knee surgery and will be missed from 8 to 12 weeks. They also lost their second string goaltender, Pyotr Kochetkov, to a concussion after collision with his teammate behind the net. KO'd him. He's out for an indefinite period of time. And former Canuck Spencer Martin now becomes the number 1 goalie in Carolina. They've had a really fantastic start to the year, but losing your top 2 goalies and expecting Spencer Martin to handle the load, I hope he can, but it might be tough on him to begin with.
That's a lot to ask. That's a big ask. Hopefully they can weather the storm, because I think that's the most they can hope for at this point in time.
Yeah, that did look like a pretty bad concussion. So hopefully he's able to get back healthy soon. Sitting down in 14th place in the Eastern Conference in the NHL is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Really tough to see. They've fallen on such hard times there. Sidney Crosby did score his 600th goal this past week, the 21st NHL player to reach that mark. And if he has a really good year, if he scores 25 more goals this season, 26 more goals, sorry, he will reach all the way to 15th place on the all-time goal scoring lists, led by Gretzky, Ovechkin, and on down the line. Some pretty great names that he's chasing for that list. But yeah, Sidney Crosby, yeah, 600, huge accomplishment, but looks like he can really get himself way up there if he has a good year.
Yeah, which is just incredible. Like, how many seasons has he been in the league now? Are we talking like 18, 19?
Yeah, I think it's something like 16 to 16, 17 years or something like that now. Yeah, yeah.
You know, which is just it's just incredible that he's been that good for that long, and it's just a testament to who he is and how hard he's worked.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him with this Four Nations face-off happening in February. It's going to be so amazing to see him play with Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon and all the incredible Canadian talent that are going to surround him. It's going to be a blast. Okay, now let's turn to football. College football first before the NFL. College football was quite the crazy weekend this weekend. 7 out of the top 25 teams had a loss. Indiana, Alabama, Ole Miss, BYU, Texas A&M, Colorado, and Army all faced really tough losses, and really threw a lot of things into the up in the air. What are they going to do? Who's going to make this 12-team playoff? It was pretty wild to watch. I watched a bunch of the games. I watched the Ohio State against Indiana. That was number 2 against number 5, and Ohio State just blew the doors off Indiana. Indiana scored the first touchdown of the game. We're up 7-0. They lost 38-15 as Ohio State just rolled over them. It was not close. Indiana, yeah, just did not look like that number 5 team that had gone out 10-0 on their season. Really playing not against elite competition really until that game, and they got humbled big time.
Well, and it showed, right? It's just like, yeah. That's your strength of schedule is not the same as us.
No,
clearly.
no.
And now you've been exposed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ohio State's quarterback Will Howard had a fantastic game throughout for over 200 yards, a couple touchdowns. He also ran one in himself, and yeah, very solid win for Ohio State. They host Michigan Saturday, which is always a huge game. Those two have bitter rivalries. That goes 9 a.m. Saturday. Should be a fantastic game. Texas sits number 3 at Oregon sits number 1. I didn't mention them. They had a bye. They host Washington on Saturday. This is the last game of the regular season for all the teams this coming weekend, which was going to be great. And then they've got the Big Ten championship, SEC championship. They've got all those games coming, but this will be the last game, regular season game for all these teams. Texas beat Kentucky 31-14. They had their running back Wisner had 26 carries for 158 yards and a touchdown, and their wideout Helm had 2 touchdowns there. They play Texas A&M on Saturday. Texas A&M is 15th, so that'll be great to see the Battle of Texas there. Penn State beat Minnesota 26-25. They remain at number 4. Their quarterback, Drew Allar, had a great game. 244 yards, 1 touchdown through the air. Also rushed one in himself. And as I mentioned, number 5 is Indiana. Number 6 is Notre Dame. They have a 9-game winning streak, and they beat number 19 Army 49-14. Stomped on them pretty big time. Down at number 7 is Alabama. Whoa, they had their worst loss in over 20 years on the weekend there. They lost to Oklahoma 24-3. They only got 3 points. Number 7 team in the nation. Jalen Milroe had 3 picks that really were very, very tough on Alabama. I've never seen Alabama lose this bad. I don't remember ever seeing them lose this bad. I know it's been 20 years, but I don't even remember those games back then. Usually they're so elite, and to only score 3 points against Oklahoma, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's the shocking part. Like that, their offense was just that anemic that they could only generate a field goal. That's crazy.
Yeah. Um, they gave up 257 rushing yards. Pretty pretty brutal. Okay, I want to go down down the list a little bit. Number 11, Tennessee. They won 56-0. They play Vanderbilt on Saturday. Boise State, they beat Wyoming. It was a close game, so only 17-13. Gianti held in check, only 169 yards on the ground. So,
Holding
tough
him in
game for
check.
Gianti. Yeah, better step it up a little bit better next time for you. SMU sits number 13. They've won 8 in a row, and they beat Virginia. They play Cal on Saturday. As I mentioned, BYU lost. They lost to number 21 Arizona State, and Texas A&M lost to Auburn. The Auburn game was 43-41 in 4 overtimes. It was incredible. One of the most amazing games that I've ever watched, and it was just back and forth, back and forth. It was 21-0 at one point for Auburn, and they ended up coming all the way back, back and forth, back and forth. In the first 2 overtimes, the first overtime they both scored a touchdown. You both get a chance to possess. Second overtime they both kicked the field goal. Third overtime they both didn't get any points, so they had to go into the fourth overtime. The third and the fourth overtime, you just line up. I think it's from the 5, and you have to go for a 2-point convert. And so they were able to get the convert. They were able to stop them on defense and win the game. Incredible. So wild. The numbers that the guys have. I had it here in front of me, but it's not here right now. I'm gonna try to find it in a second, but incredible numbers that these guys put up because it went into 4 freaking overtimes.
Okay, 4 overtimes. So that's got to be obviously the longest played college game of the year.
Yeah.
Like, so how long were you watching that game for? Was that well over 3 hours?
Oh yeah,
You're
I
going
went
into
on
4
like
hours?
4 hours. Yeah, yeah.
4 hours.
4 hours. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Texas A&M's numbers. Their quarterback Marcel Reed, he was 22 for 35 with 297 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. He also carried the ball 27 times for 90 yards and a touchdown. So that guy is a machine.
Big,
Like
yeah.
he handled the
Carried the
ball
offense.
that much. He also handed off to his running back Marcel Reed. No, sorry. Oh, no, sorry. Reed was the guy that had 21 carries for 66 yards. His main running back is Amari Daniels, who had 27 carries, 90 yards, and a touchdown. So Reed had 22 completions and 21 rushes. What a amazing day he had. And what are some of the other numbers that I saw? Then their other guy, on Auburn's side, their quarterback Peyton Thorne was 19 for 31, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 11 rushes for 38 yards. His top running back had 28 carries for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. So yeah, the numbers were incredible. All the receiving too. Like we don't have the time, but man, the game was unbelievable, incredible. I just started hearing about it earlier. Luckily, I was recording it so I could go back and see it and watch it throughout. And one of the best games I remember ever seeing.
Offensive explosion by both teams. Yeah. Amazing.
It was. Colorado took a tough loss. They lost to Kansas. Kansas is the first team in FBS history to beat 3 ranked opponents 3 straight weeks in a row. They were all over Colorado. They won 37-21. Travis Hunter had a fantastic game, though. He had 8 catches, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He also had 3 solo tackles and 4 assisted tackles on defense, and looked great on both sides of the ball. But Colorado took the loss. Who else did I want to mention? Oh yeah, that's it. Lot of really incredible things down the. I did want to mention South Carolina. This is a guy. This is their guy here. Let's see. He had their quarterback was Sellers. He was 23 of 27, 307 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had 13 carries for 53 yards and a rushing touchdown. The numbers guys could put up in college is just phenomenal and just wild to watch when you start breaking down the game and seeing who did what.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially the number of yards that they generate for the teams, and especially the way that quarterbacks play nowadays, which is not purely being a pocket passer, but also being able to run the ball as well.
Yeah. South Carolina has won 5 in a row. They won 56-12 that game. Unbelievable. Okay, let's talk about the NFL now. There's a few news and notes I want to talk about right before we get to the games. There was a very tough injury that happened yesterday to Panthers rookie Jatavian Sanders. He went to catch a ball on the sideline yesterday in the Panthers and Chiefs game. Ended up getting hit, upended, landed on his head, severely injured his neck, and had to be taken to the hospital. Luckily, he was released from the hospital late last night, and he looks like he will be fine. It was really a tough looking injury, and thankfully, he wasn't more seriously injured than it looked like.
Yeah, which is always good to see that he's able to, not be able to walk still, because anything to deal with your neck and your spine, those are the cringy ones. Those are the ones that you super worry about, because anything can happen on that field. Anything.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. The Commanders, they lost yesterday, and they also lost their top 2 running backs. Brian Robinson Jr. injured his ankle severely. Looks like he'll be out for a bit. And Austin Eckler was severely concussed. I ended up hospitalized from it. I expect him to miss some games. Did you see the hit that he took? He for some reason they use him on kick returns, and he was trying to return a kick and just got absolutely obliterated.
I think I saw that. Now, did he do the flensing thing when he was knocked out, or was he just like out cold?
He was face down on the turf and was not moving at all for a long time. It was one of the most brutal collisions I've seen in a while.
Yeah. Those are the scariest ones, because usually you start coming to, like, let's say 30 seconds, minute, whatever. But if you don't start coming to after a couple of minutes, that's really, really bad. Yeah. And that's when it gets scary.
Just like that USC girl we're going to talk about in a little bit. Yeah, she was out, they say, for 4 minutes before she actually even moved the muscle and before she woke up. So, yeah, that was a pretty severe one. She ended up in the hospital, too.
No, that one was, I knew it was bad because they kept going to commercial break.
Yeah.
It was 3 times.
They weren't even showing her. They
weren't even showing that. No. I knew it was bad. Yeah. That's when it's like, oh, this is not good. No. And then the concern that you saw on Shee's face, that's what really cemented it.
I know. I kept seeing them take shots of her, and she just kept looking every little once in a while. She'd kind of look and go, oh my God, oh no, what have I done to her? And looked over quite a few times because she looked very concerned.
Very concerned. Oh, well, she would know better since she's a doctor.
Yeah, true. Right. Good point. Yeah. That's hilarious. Her parents don't even know. Do you think they know now after that big viral moment?
I would say that probably one of her parents' friends had said, hey, by the way, your daughter's in the UFC, right? Like, they'll be like, what is that? You know what? Forget it.
Yeah, that was an interesting aspect of that story. Yeah,
Pretty
doesn't
cool.
even know that she's fighting in the UFC. That's pretty wild. Okay, I mentioned the Commanders. A longtime guy with the Washington franchise, Joe Gibbs, just had his 84th birthday. They did some announcements for him before the game on the weekend. He was the three-time Super Bowl winning coach with them. He won with three different quarterbacks. None of those guys made the Hall of Fame, so he was able to really get the most out of them. And then he decided to leave football and start a NASCAR racing team. They won 5 championships there, and his drivers have won 214 individual titles. So, pretty incredible to be one of the GOATs of all time in the NFL and one of the GOATs of all time in NASCAR. Pretty great. Happy 84th birthday to Joe, and I'm glad they recognized him on the weekend.
Yeah, as they should, because like he's pretty much one of the greatest Redskins they've ever had.
Yeah.
Period. So as they should celebrate him. And the fact that he was able to parlay all his success, go into a completely different sport, and still be successful, amazing.
Yeah, very amazing. The other good news today was that Daniel Jones cleared waivers, and now any other team is able to sign him. Glad he's out of New York. I just can't believe how brutal they've messed things up there, and he will be heading to. I know a team will take him on this week. Do you have any idea where? He's best suited, and where do you think he'll go?
I got a funny one for you.
Okay.
Jets,
Yeah.
Jets.
Yeah.
I think even Jones would be like, no, I'm good. But you know what? Like, there's a couple places, maybe the Raiders, or you know what? I take that back. The Raiders are probably just going to tank the season and look for like a quarterback in the draft. Probably Shedeur Sanders, I would say.
Yeah.
We're probably looking at him.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Oh man, maybe no. I was gonna say the Titans, but I'm like, apparently they love Will Levis. Love him.
He had the career game this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, see, I told you we were right. We were right about him all this time. I don't know. Panthers, maybe. Where do you think?
Well, I've heard a lot of teams are interested, and I've heard, he could go to situations like the Jets or the Raiders where, that's not much better than what he had with the Giants. So why go there, right? I heard because Brock Purdy's hurt, maybe the 49ers. No, not really understanding, for us not knowing how long Purdy's hurt out. If he's out long term, that kind of makes sense. I hear that to bring him on, it's only going to cost $375,000, and if he doesn't re-sign with you, you get a compensatory draft pick as well. So, I think the teams will be lining up to bring him in, and the other teams I hear that have interest are the Cowboys. Another situation not that great, but also to maybe back up Lamar or Sam Darnold with the Vikings, I hear are two really interested parties.
If I was him, I would be like, you know what? I just want to win. So I'm just going to go with like a winner. Like if I'm him, I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of losing. I'm okay to be a backup. I want to win. So I could see him leaning towards more of a winning franchise right now, a winning team right now, as opposed to
get out of the Giants situation. This must be so enlightening for him. And he's had enough losing. It's time to go somewhere where he can win. Quarterbacks don't stay healthy that often these days, so you might as well go to a better situation and possibly get yourself a chance and be able to win finally, because it's been rough there. I love the Giants because they gave up on Saquon Barkley and handed them to my Eagles. I absolutely love the Giants. I hope they mess things up worse and start handing more of their top crappy guys or top good guys that they think are crappy and can't be signed. That performance yesterday that Saquon had with the Eagles, it's just, how could the Giants have messed that up?
That performance with the Eagles cemented one thing and one thing for me, which is, so you wanted to play Daniel Jones and not Saquon.
Yeah.
Man, you people are geniuses. Whoever's running that team, and you have to be some of the smartest people I've ever seen in my freaking life.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, didn't you give away Xavier McKinney? Because you're like, that guy's not very good. Well, the Packers like, I think he's very good.
They have been, yeah. Xavier McKinney got his 7th pick this weekend for the Packers. That's tied for the top of the league. And yeah, get rid of 2 of the best guys in the NFL. Yeah, I think Joe Schoen is on the hot seat right now. I think he's very, very close to being fired. I'd be shocked. The Jets just fired their GM this past week. I would not be shocked to hear Joe Schoen is on the unemployment list after what Saquon just did and what Xavier's doing and other guys that they've got rid of. It's just unbelievable how much they've messed this up.
No, it is unbelievable how much they messed this up. And if he survives the season, which he might, which would be incredible, he's definitely gone. Like at some point in time, if it's not during the season, then it definitely after the season, that dude's out of there.
Yeah.
Out of there.
I think he's gone, yeah. Okay, let's get into that game. The Eagles were able to beat the Rams 37-20 on the Sunday night game. Eagles are now 9-2, 2.5 game lead over the Commanders, who sit at 7-5. Cowboys are 4-7, and Giants are 2-9. Rams fell to 5-6 in the bottom of the NFC West. The Stars were out in full force last night because it was in the LA Stadium. Could you believe how many stars that they were showing throughout the game?
Okay. So Will Arnett, I saw Bradley Cooper. Hold on. I saw LeBron James. I saw Kevin Hart. He's just a pipsqueak. And it just went on and on and on and on since it was in LA. Like
it was amazing
amazing
to see. The other cool part about the game was during halftime, they brought out the greatest show on turf, Super Bowl winning team of 1999. Great to see all those guys out there. A lot of them look like they could still play. They were even doing their dance in the middle of the field. And, that team was electric, incredible. They still have records from that year, 25 years ago. And really nice that even though they were in St. Louis back then, the Rams organization is still recognized them as the Rams, and we're able to bring the guys together.
No, that was awesome. That was very cool to see. And then also too, just remembering just how good and talented that team was. They were stacked.
Incredible.
Unbelievably stacked.
Unreal, yeah. Okay, let's talk about Saquon's numbers. 26 carries for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. His 2 touchdowns were one from 70 and one from 72. He also had 4 catches for 47 yards. So over 300 yards from scrimmage. Absolutely incredible. He's now on pace for 2,151 yards of rushing this season. He's sitting at 1,392 so far. Eric Dickerson has the record for a single season set back in 1984, 40 years ago, 21:05. So Barkley's on a pace for 21:51 right now. Wow, just unbelievable. And the Eagles are now definitely in the mix to get back to that Super Bowl and win it all again.
Yeah, they're definitely in the mix for that. I think I might have sent you the Instagram of Saquon's best year rushing for the Giants. He's beaten that already. Yeah. He's already beaten that. So the fact that he has to be the happiest person in the NFL can't be understated. Yeah. He's got to be ecstatic, where it's just like, so this is what winning's all about, eh? Just being on a great team and not just having the whole defense focus on me because there's other great players I'm playing with.
Yeah. I think Daniel Jones is going to be the Super Bowl MVP somewhere too. I think he's awesome quarterback, but he just got to get out of purgatory and the Giants. I think Xavier McKinney's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Saquon's going to win MVP, and Daniel Jones in a couple years is going to win MVP of a Super Bowl and be, able to take a team there. I think they are such a terrible judge of talent that anybody that leaves New York, I'm swooping up. I'm making part of my team, and I'm gonna take the team far because they got to be good if the Giants think they suck.
Yeah, exactly. They got to be good if the Giants think they suck. It's almost like right now, like New York has a curse on them when it comes to football.
Yeah.
It's like you go to New York, I don't know, buddy. You're
Yeah.
probably not going to make it.
I think once Eli left there, the Giants, the Jets have been bad for almost our entire lives. The Giants, once Eli's left there, that team has looked pretty bad and not a team that you want to play for. So good on those guys getting out of there and showing how talented they are. Yeah, it was a really amazing, really good win for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts had a great game. AJ Brown. Man, that guy's a beast. You can just get him the ball. And unfortunately, they did lose Brandon Graham. He had a sack on the game, but he was told today that he tore his tricep and now is out for the season. That will be a tough loss for them to get over. Luckily, they do have very talented team on both sides of the ball, but unfortunately, that's tough for Brandon. Brandon is the longest serving Eagle of all time. He's been there for 15 seasons, I believe it is, and has most games, most starts, almost every record you could think of. And it's too bad that he won't be able to be on this big run with them again.
Yeah, because like he was dominating. He was dominating in that game. And I saw the post game scrum where he literally told the reporters, yeah, I'm out for the season. Yeah. The guy's like, get out of here. Are you kidding? He's like, no. Torn tricep.
Look, it's gone. Yeah.
and he showed it. And I was like, oh, it is gone. Oh, man. Sucks.
Yeah, brutal. Yeah, very tough. Rams were playing good, but came up against a juggernaut there. Stafford had a good game, 240 yards passing, a couple touchdowns. Puka looked good. Cooper Kupp looked good, but just not enough weapons there to compete. Philly goes to Baltimore Sunday. Wow, that's going to be a hell of a game. Ravens, Philly.
Can't wait. That's going to be an epic game. Yeah. It's going to be awesome to see.
Rams head to New Orleans, play Sunday, so it should be a good game there. The other game involving the NFC East teams had the Commanders and the Cowboys, and this was a pretty dull, crappy game through three quarters. It was 10-9, and then they scored 41 points in the fourth quarter. 4 touchdowns were scored in the final 3.5 minutes of the game, and a bit of a shocker, the Cowboys were able to upset the Commanders 34-26. I'm blaming this on the Commanders kicker Austin Seibert, though. He missed that extra point that could have tied it, and they wouldn't have had to go for the onside kick. And the onside kick was picked up by Dallas and ran in for a touchdown that gave them that touchdown lead. Seibert had missed the extra point earlier, missed a field goal, and missed that extra point after McLaurin had scored that 86-yard touchdown with 33 seconds left when they snapped it. And you thought, oh my God, they've come all the way back to do it. And then Seibert misses the extra point, and they got to try to manufacture the rest of it. But tough on Washington to lose to Dallas, and they should have had this win.
They should have had this win. I also wanted to point to the fact that Turpin kick return for a touchdown, that was ridiculous. Like the way that he did it, and then he just did the old spinorama, and then all of a sudden it was almost like the other team was just like, wait, what just happened? Did he just disappear?
And he was video game move here. I can't stop that. Yeah,
it was that. I was so impressed by that. Like it was such an impressive move.
That spin move was ridiculous. 99-yard kick return for a touchdown, and incredible. He had 4 kick returns for 179 yards and a touchdown. That guy is a weapon. You do not kick to him. That's another thing. Seibert, don't kick to the freaking guy. Like, what did you do?
No,
he was
Kick it
lighting him up
out.
all game, and then you kick to him right then, and
Yeah.
Jesus, Siebert, I think you better get some serious talking to, and do
Yeah.
not kick to Turpin when you play the Cowboys again.
Yeah, because the Turpin literally turned into Devin Hester.
Yeah.
And you know what you're supposed to do? Not kick that guy the ball. That's
No,
what you're supposed to do.
not at all. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I was shocked. Cooper Rush played great, 250 yards passing, couple touchdowns. CD had a good game. They actually had some running game from Rico Dowdle. Schunker ended up. Micah Parsons had a couple sacks, and yeah, amazing. Really surprised Dallas was able to get the victory. Daniels looked good, but threw a couple picks, and yeah, just wasn't able to overcome all the all the troubles they had on special teams there. And Eckler, yeah, I'm disappointed to see Eckler hurt. One of my favorite guys. I don't know why they're using him as a kick returner. That's a terribly bad move for your backup running back.
I think that has come to an end.
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion he won't be doing that anymore.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah, I hope that's changed for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
So the Cowboys, they always play Thanksgiving Day. That's coming up on Thursday, and they host the Giants. 1:30 kickoff. Commanders, they host the Titans Sunday, and that's in the early window, 10 a.m. Pacific start. Okay, we talked about the Giants a bit. They were beaten pretty handily, 30-7 by the Bucks. Baker ended up scoring the touchdown and threw up the Tommy Cutlets Italian move there. It was pretty good to see him immediately throw some shade on Tommy DeVito and the Italians. They asked him, "Do you have a little bit of Italian in you, Baker?" And he goes, "I've never done a 23andMe, so couldn't tell you." But he was definitely throwing shade at DeVito, who didn't look very good on this game.
Yeah, it was weird how that he didn't look good. Maybe it's because he plays for the Giants. Anyways, Mayfield was awesome. But the guy that was really made it go was Bucky Irving. I really like that guy.
Yeah.
He's a great running back. 12 carries, 87 yards, and a touchdown. And then he had an additional 6 receptions for 64 yards. Great to see Evans back in the lineup. He had 5 receptions for 68 yards himself.
Yeah, they had a lot of good weapons there. Yeah, seeing Baker get almost 300 yards a gain, and he ran one in himself. They really spread the ball around incredibly well. Eight different receivers on top of Evans, Otten, and Jarrett all had catches, and then 8 different receivers had at least a catch there. So really, really good. 450 yards of offense to the Giants, only 245. They sacked DeVito 4 times and only allowed 169 yards through the air. It looked pretty phenomenal for the Bucks. Easy win. Yeah, DeVito couldn't do anything, obviously, with being in the Giants organization there. Devin Singletary was supposed to be the man. He only had 2 carries, 3 yards. He did score a touchdown, but he was supposed to be the man there, and really not good. They have their longest losing streak, which is 6 since 2021. 0-6 at home for the first time since 1974. 0-6 at home. Cowboys are 0-5 at home, and the Giants are 0-6 at home. Not a good place. Also, we talked about Saquon leaving. We talked about Xavier McKinney, Daniel Jones, but also Leonard Williams was left the Giants and went to Seattle this weekend. He had 2.5 sacks too, so pretty wild. And I saw Hard Knocks played a bit today. I mentioned that a few weeks back when Wellington Mara and Joe Schoen had that conversation about trying to keep Barkley or not, and that's going to be forever and a day shown. No matter where he goes, no matter what kind of a job he has, how much of a mess up that was, losing Saquon and him trying to justify it to the owner there. Oh man, so brutal. I think a lot of teams are going to be worried about allowing the Hard Knocks crew in there to show footage when that just made him look so bad and so dumb.
It made him look foolish.
Yeah.
It made him look like to the point where any other job that he applies for, you know what's probably going to happen? The owner's like, so explain this. They'll put the video on of him trying to explain like what he did. It's like, it's like,
got nothing
oh, yeah.
for you.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, you're not getting the job. You can leave.
No, exactly. As I already mentioned, Giants go to Dallas Thursday for the Turkey Bowl. The Bucks go to the Panthers Sunday. That's in the later window. Let's talk about the NFC West. Really, really great division with all the teams within a game of each other right now. Seahawks were able to get a 16-6 victory over the Cardinals to take over first place. Seahawks sit at 6-5. Cardinals also sit at 6-5, but Seahawks with this win are first. Rams are 5-6, and the Niners are also 5-6. Really impressive. Seahawks defense really just allowing 2 field goals on the game. They held the Cards to only 3 for 12 on 3rd down and 0 for 1 on 4th down. The pick 6 by Kobe Bryant to me was the turning point, TSN turning point of this game. Returned at 69 yards to give him a 10-point lead, 13-3, just 2 field goals on each side to finish this game. Geno Smith looked good. Jackson Smith and Jigba also great. And yeah, huge. As I mentioned, Leonard Williams, huge. 2.5 sacks. Thank you, Giants. Helped the Seattle Seahawks get a win.
Yeah, the Seahawks are just, hey, if there's anybody else you guys want to get rid of, yeah, just send him our way. So I'm sure he's not very good for your organization, but he'll be a winner with us, right?
Yeah, I think the Giants will be my first call. Joe Schoen every morning. Hey, I'm looking for this guy. You got this guy.
What do you got? What do you got? What do you got?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Tough loss for the Cards. Kyler Murray had a good game, 285 yards passing, but yeah, did not get the win. Yeah, tough on them, but they head to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Another tough game Sunday. Seahawks go play Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, so should be an easy win for Seattle.
Oh yeah, I would say that's an easy win because they look like they're spiraling. And I think I've even heard the comment of Rodgers is unsure of where he wants to play for next year.
Yeah.
Have you already made those comments where it's just like, oh, so you're not taking no responsibility? What you're doing is like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I was surprised to hear that they talked about benching him. That was pretty crazy. Yeah. The owner was saying maybe we should bench him. So unreal. Okay. Also in the NFC West, we have the Packers and the 49ers. No, we have the 49ers who face the Packers. In 74 games that the Packers and 49ers have played against each other, this was the largest ever win by the Packers in the series history. 28-point victory, 38-10. Josh Jacobs was the man, scoring 3 touchdowns on 26 carries. And the 49ers were definitely missing a lot of regulars. Brock Purdy was out with his shoulder problem. Nick Bosa was out with a hip and oblique problem. And offensive tackle Trent Williams was also hurt with an ankle. So you got to give, I guess, the 49ers a bit of a pass, but I was not expecting it to be a blowout this much, 38-10.
I don't think Shanahan was either. I think he said post-game, humiliated. We're going to try to come back. He said, oh, the coach speak, but he was definitely, he didn't like the performance of the team at all.
No, it was tough. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, Xavier McKinney got a 7th interception. Love didn't have too great of numbers, but threw a couple touchdown passes, and it was good enough. Brandon Allen hadn't had a start in the NFL in over 3 years, since 2021. So yeah, that's tough on any quarterback. The Niners head to Buffalo to play the Sunday nighter this coming week. Hopefully Brock Purdy and some of these other guys will be back. The Packers host the Dolphins, and that's Thanksgiving Day. That's the latest game on Thanksgiving Day, 5:20 Pacific, 8:20 Eastern time kickoff. Should be a fun game.
That should be a great game.
Yeah.
Now that the Dolphins have Tua back and they're looks like they're hitting their stride again.
They're looking good, yeah. NFC North turning to, we've got a great division here with the Lions sitting first at 10-1, Vikings second at 9-2, Packers third at 8-3, and the Bears in last at 4-7. But Lions got another convincing victory, 24-6 over the Colts. They are the top team in the NFC, using those Sonic and Knuckles back and forth running game. Gibbs was great. Montgomery was good as well. And this team is really firing on all cylinders. This is the first time they've been 10-1 since 1934. So we're talking 90 years since Detroit's been 10-1.
I think you could actually argue too, they're probably the best team in football right now today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's ever happened with Detroit.
No, incredible. Yeah. Gibbs was fantastic. Montgomery, Goff, Williams, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, incredible. Very good. Richardson didn't have a very good game. They were really only able to get 2 field goals from Matt Gay, and back to the drawing board there. They head to the Patriots Sunday. They play the early window, and the Lions, as usual, play on Thanksgiving. They host the Bears, and that's the early game on Thursday morning, Thanksgiving Day, 9:30 Pacific kickoff for them.
I wanted to say about
Go ahead.
Richardson though, that guy needs to work on his accuracy to another degree, because I keep seeing, if you keep seeing stat lines like 11 of 28, that's not good enough.
Jesus.
It's not even close.
No, I think he has the worst completion percentage in NFL history, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
That's got to get better if he wants to be a consistent starter. Something has to change there.
Yeah. No, I think I would have given up on him already, really, honestly. I think Flacco would have been my man throughout. And I mean, you're gonna lose the room if you can't, hit your guys. Your guys are out there running their routes, snap after snap after snap, and you're not getting them the ball. Like 11 out of 28, that's just horrible numbers.
It's horrible. Like, he obviously has the physicality, he has the physical tools, but I don't know if the brain is caught up to the physical tools yet.
No.
So something needs to happen there, and maybe he just needs to sit down and just like try to own his craft some more, because like that's not good enough. That's not going to get it done.
Absolutely not. No. The Vikings and the had to deal with the Bears. It was way closer game than anybody expected. 30-27, the Vikings were able to win. The Bears had a furious comeback, recovering the first onside kick of the season, and really gave them all that they could handle. Finally, John Parker Romo kicked a 29-yard field goal to give them the victory, 30-27. Bears have lost 5 straight. Vikes improved to 9-2, 4th win in a row, and kept pace with the Lions. Darnold had a fantastic game with 330 yards passing and a couple touchdowns. Addison was amazing. Hawkinson was huge. To see Justin Jefferson only held to 2 catches for 27 yards, you don't think the Vikes are going to be able to pull off the win, but we got Addison, Hawkinson, Jones, and Darnold all had fantastic games and got the win.
Yeah, they showed out. Addison came up big when Jefferson was always getting double teamed. They literally just took him out of the offense, so everybody else had to step up, which is what they did. But at the same time, Caleb Williams had a great game as well. Like he led that comeback, 340 yards passing with 2 touchdowns, and his favorite receiver was Moore and Keenan Allen, each with a touchdown each. They fell short, but at least that was good to see that the Bears still have some fight left in them.
Yeah, it was impressive. Because they're bottom of the division and having a hard go, 4 losses in a row, and you thought, oh, okay, Vikings are up and they're going to easily win this, and there was no quit in them at all. So pretty impressive. One thing I noticed about Chicago is Cairo Santos. another blocked field goal. He's got to learn how to kick it higher. The linemen are just getting their big paws on it, and it's going to really harm them going forward if he can't get the ball through the uprights. Keeps getting kicks blocked. It's going to be big trouble. Oh, it looks like you are frozen. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Somehow we got frozen there. I wonder if that's gonna stay that way. Give it a second. Give it a second. Huh. Let's see. Is there anything happening? Did you disconnect somehow?
Oh,
Oh, you got somehow disconnected there.
yes, I know. And then now it's doing that. Okay. Okay. Anyways. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
What did your phone just stop or what happened?
Well, you know what? Hold on. What actually happened? Oh, there we go.
Okay.
You froze, and then I just got I went into a weird dimension. I got disconnected, and then I came back after a while. I have no idea what happened.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, I'm glad we're back.
We're back. We're back.
I just got a note here. I just got sent an Instagram note. Do you know the guy Paul Bissonnette, Biz Nasty, they call him? He's an analyst in hockey, former player. Do you know that guy?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What
Uh,
about
he was
what about?
he was on Sunday night. He was in Arizona at a restaurant in Scottsdale, and
Okay.
there was an altercation inside the restaurant with some of the management and at least six different men. Um, Reportedly, Paul Bissonnette tried to help the management calm some of the men down after they were having a fight. Um, the situation escalated to the men assaulting Bissonnette both inside and outside the restaurant, and he's been hospitalized after the attack.
Oh,
Which was pretty crazy and sounds pretty brutal. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious, but getting attacked by six different guys is not going to turn out very well.
no, because that's when you hope that you can find your inner John Jones, or else it's not going to end well for you.
Oh yeah. Tough,
That
yeah.
sucks, man.
He's one of my favorite analysts. He does the podcast Spitting Chicklets, and he is a
Yeah, and he's
TNT
very good.
broadcaster. Recently, CBC actually just hired him, and he came on to Hockey Night in Canada. I think for the past 2 weeks, so it's been pretty neat to see him here north of the border too.
I hope that he's not seriously injured. I hope that he's not doesn't have to have like a long hospital stay. And whoever assaulted him, well, good luck with that. You're going to be facing jail time.
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
pretty obvious.
Wow. Okay, we were just wrapping up the Vikings-Bears game. The Vikings host the Cardinals Sunday, and as I've mentioned, the Bears and Detroit play. Okay, NFC South. Your Falcons are still leading the division. They had a bye in the division. They sit 6-5. The Bucks are second at 5-6. The Saints are 4-7. They also had a bye, and the Panthers 3-8. We've already talked about the Bucks. Now let's talk about the Panthers. They had they had such a great performance. I was really surprised. They went into this game 2-8 facing the 9-1 Chiefs, and it came down to a late field goal for the Chiefs to win 30-27. I don't know how they did it, but actually turned out to be a pretty interesting, good game for the Panthers. Probably Bryce Young's best game ever.
Yeah, this definitely was his best game that he's ever done. But the crazy thing is, the Chiefs are just like, that's cool. Like it's close. But guess what's gonna happen? We're gonna win.
We're gonna win,
That's
yeah.
that's what we do. The thing that I was super impressed with, it was Mahomes again, Mahomes magic. That run that he
Oh
did to
man.
submit, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody was covered. He's just like, well, I guess I'll just have to do it myself again. And then he does. And then it looks like he's going to go out about, yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
scoot for another 15 yards. Like, yeah, he's amazing.
It's amazing, and he's not fast. He does, you can
Nope.
tell that he's not quick when he's running, but he somehow knows how to elude guys, and that move, he does that a lot. He
Oh,
always finds that pylon and gets that first down a lot, but a lot of
man.
times he just jukes back inside, and all of a sudden, whoa, everybody's surprised, and he gets another 10, 15, 20 yards after.
And I know what he's doing. He's using the fact that he's the quarterback, and then everybody's just like, well, he looks like he's going out of bounds.
Doesn't want
And
to
then he's
deliver
like,
it.
but am I? And then he goes back in,
Yeah,
right? Because you hit him out of bounds, you're getting the penalty. It's going to be 15 yards. Everybody's hyper aware of that.
yeah,
And he knows that I'm Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to get that call every time.
yeah,
Every time.
every
So,
time. The kicker, Spencer Schrader, was the guy that had the game-winning kick for them. He was signed off the Jets practice roster just November the 5th to replace Harrison Butker, who got injured, and he kicked the game-winning field goal, just a walk-off. So we talked about the Giants, we talked about the Jets a little bit. They didn't think he was good enough. They got him on the practice roster. He comes in and was perfect on the day and got the game-winning field goal. It's hilarious. 3 for 3 on field goals from him. And yeah, you leave New York and you go to the 10-1 Chiefs and got a chance at a championship. That's pretty hilarious.
yeah, no, because it's almost like it's just always stormy and gray clouds. And then as soon as I left New York, it's like, oh, the sun's out. Oh, this is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Carolina had a really fantastic push to the end. Almost were able to pull this out. Chuba Hubbard scored a 1-yard touchdown run and a 2-point conversion to tie it at 27 with just 1:46 left. But you give Mahomes that much time, and he's going to be able to figure out how to get the win. Noah Gregg had 2 touchdowns. Kelsey had another good game. And D Hop got a touchdown. Hunt was great, and yeah, they were able to spread the ball around a lot there. Yeah, we mentioned Bryce Young, 263 yards passing with a touchdown, and yeah, utilized his weapons quite well, but just yeah, got Mahomes, I guess, as they say. Mahomes did get sacked 5 times, but still was able to get the win. And as I mentioned earlier, too, Chiefs hosts the Raiders, and that's Black Friday, noon Pacific, the only game that day. So everyone's still going to watch it, even though the Chiefs probably will pull out the win, of course, but probably close. And the Panthers host the Bucks Sunday in the late window. Anything else you want to mention on that one?
No.
All right, AFC now. AFC East, we got the Bills sitting in the top of the AFC East, 9-2 with a bye. The Jets also had a bye. The only 2 teams that were playing were the Dolphins and the Patriots, and they played each other. The Dolphins got a 34-15 win over New England, and Tua has come in really amazing. He's had 7 touchdown passes in the past 2 weeks. 4 on Sunday, 317-yard passes, and used his weapons again. Waddle had a phenomenal game, 144 yards with a touchdown. Jonnu Smith, great tight end, with a touchdown, and used A-Chain, Tyreek, and boom. They just needed Tua a
Tua
lot
to come
much
back.
of this year. They would probably be in a playoff spot somewhere if they would have had him. 5-6. I think they're still not dead, but yeah, it's amazing the difference he's made with this team.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing the difference that he makes with that team. Just him being in the lineup and stuff. It's going to be tough sledding for them to make a playoff, get a playoff spot, but there's still a chance.
Yeah. They get to play the Jets and the Patriots quite a bit, so they
Yeah,
should be
definitely a chance.
getting wins there. Yeah. Dolphins, as I said, go to Green Bay. That's the late game on Turkey Day, Thanksgiving, and then Patriots host the Colts. AFC West, Chiefs lead 10-1. Chargers sit second at 7-3. Chargers and Ravens playing tonight, and let's see. It's got to be a final. The Ravens were able to pull out the win 30-23, dropping the Chargers to 7-4 on the year. Chargers sit half a game ahead of the Broncos, are 7-5, and the Raiders are 2-9. Ravens, as I mentioned, 30-23 win. Let's just quickly look at the stats here. Lamar had a couple touchdown passes. Derrick Henry was huge as usual. 140 yards rushing. Lamar also had a touchdown rushing as well. Utilized Zay Flowers, and Mark Andrews had a touchdown. Rashad Bateman had the other. And Ravens improved themselves to 8-4 on the season, and looking pretty solid. Nice victory over the Chargers. The Harbaugh Bowl that everybody's been talking about. First time they've faced each other since Super Bowl 47, 2013. So a long time ago. But John Harbaugh, the older brother, has been able to beat Jim 3 times now in the NFL when they faced each other.
Just like when they were growing up. I'm sure that's what John said to Jim. It's just like when we're growing up. Yeah. They're never going to beat me. I'm your older brother.
Yeah. It was fun to see them today. They had their dad in there. They had a lot of conversations. They talked about a lot of fun things growing up. It was pretty amazing. Those guys, they said they're best friends and have always been really close. And it's incredible that their dad had success as a coach, and then they're both 2 of the greatest coaches too, and seeing them together. It was pretty neat to witness the lead up to this game. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just cool to see the bloodlines at work, and the fact that dad's got to be super proud of the fact is like, look at this, my boys.
Yeah.
Both NFL coaches, head coaches, and both doing so well, and they've done so well throughout the entirety of both of their careers.
I know, so neat. Yeah, it's pretty wild to see how much the success they've had and everything that they've done. Really cool, really cool. Okay, we got to fly through the rest of this. Let's go. Broncos were able to beat the Raiders 29-19. Bo Nix, another phenomenal game, and this team is looking very solid. Raiders are looking for a high draft pick. You're right. Shedeur Sanders is what they need. They lost Gardner Minshew actually to a broken collarbone, out for the year, and another blow there. 2-9 on the year, and the Tank City should be on. Try to get number 1 overall pick if they can get it.
No, they're definitely going to get it. That's what they're aiming for now. Like, it's like, oh, Gardner's gone. Okay, yeah, you know what? We're going to get that number 1 pick.
Yeah. The Broncos host the Browns. That's the Monday night, or 1 week from tonight. So can't wait for that. And as I mentioned, Raiders play the Chiefs Friday. The Browns and the Steelers, they played that Thursday nighter in the blizzard. Pretty crazy that the Browns were able to pull out the win on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh still leads the AFC North with an 8-3 record. Ravens are 8-4, just a half a game back. Bengals are 4-7. They had a bye, and the Browns are now 3-8. It was Nick Chubb that had the really good performance with a couple touchdowns. And in a blizzard like that, you think your running game is going to be the reason why you win. Tough for the Steelers to go against that. I mean, the Steelers are a cold weather team, but looked like they just really weren't able to get much generation going in that really big snow game.
Yeah, and it seemed like the guy that was really made the difference in the game was actually Jameis Winston, and especially when he did that, it got the last touchdown there, the 7 yard plunge into the end zone, or the for his touchdown when he
Yeah,
ran it in.
yeah, yeah. He was huge for them. Browns go to Mile High, play Denver Monday nighter, as I mentioned. Steelers go to Cincy. Last game of the schedule is the Titans shocking the Texans 32-27. Will Levis probably had the best game of his career, 278 yards passing and a couple touchdowns. Ridley was huge, and I don't think anybody suspected that the Titans at 2-8 were going to beat the 7-4 Texans, but they sure did.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that, and I most certainly wasn't expecting Okonkwo to have a reception for 70 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
was
that
impressive.
it was like the Red Sea
He
parting. He
parted,
just
and he was
came
just
through
like,
the middle, and yeah, he's a huge, pretty big guy
he's
too.
a big dude.
Yeah,
That's a
70
big man.
yards. I was not expecting that. That was a huge, huge, huge turning point for them and getting the win. I don't know how the Titans defense stuffed Joe Mixon so well, but 14 carries for 22 yards. I don't remember ever seeing a stat line for Mixon there.
No, yeah, the Titans D definitely stifled Mixon, made the running attack non-existent for
Yeah.
the Texans.
Texans actually sacked Levis 8 times, but still lost. That's not usual. Daniil Hunter had 3.5 sacks, and Will Anderson Jr. had two, but still took the loss for Texans. Texans play Jacksonville Sunday early, and Titans play Washington also early. Okay, we have to fly into the UFC coverage. We had UFC from Macau, China, this past week, and it was a hell of a interesting card. I really enjoyed it. It was long. It was very long. I had to come home after that concert and start watching it late that night, and I watched the prelims, and then the next day I had to watch the main card. But yeah, it just felt like it went on forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, it most certainly did. I tried to stay up to watch it because it started at midnight Friday night,
No
and I
time.
was like, yeah, not going to be able to do it. So I was able to watch it the next day. Figured that out.
Yeah,
It was long.
yeah,
It
it
was
was
long,
very
but it was
long.
good. It
Yeah, it
was
was
long.
good. The main event was a matchup that I was really excited about. Peter Yan, No Mercy is a guy that held the belt. Really, he fell on a little bit of hard times there. Lost a couple split decisions. Lost that fight to Aljo where he kneed him illegally, and it sort of just sent him on a bit of a spiral. He seems to have been able to right the ship and looked fantastic in beating Davison Figueiredo, who's also had a fantastic, very decorated career, held the welterweight or the flyweight belt on a couple of occasions, and this looked like a hell of a great matchup. I was really surprised how well Peter did and dominated. He on all three judges' scorecards, 50-45, unanimous decision win. And yeah, very dominant fashion, got the victory.
It was a very technical fight, but I thought that Yan definitely held the advantage in the striking department at all times. I thought Davison wasn't active enough,
Right.
didn't throw enough out there. I thought that was part of his problem. And the fact that Figueredo thought to himself the easiest part of this fight would be taking Yan down. Yeah, that was not the easiest part of the fight.
Yeah.
He struggled to do that.
I was actually pretty shocked because to me that's the way to beat Jan, and I thought Figueiredo was going to do that, but he was only able to be 2 of 8 on his takedowns, and when he did secure the takedowns, he didn't have him down long.
Wow. Pop
He
right
was
back
able
up.
to pop right back up and get back into the standing realm. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. The total strikes were 190 to 53. Significant was 121 to 53. And Jan got the victory. A lot of talk now that he should have a chance at trying to go after Marab again. And I think, wait a second here. There's a lot of talk that Marab's going to fight Umar Nurmagomedov next, and I think that that's where we would like things to go. I think that Peter Yan and Sean O'Malley should face each other, and they had a split decision win for O'Malley a couple years back, and I think a lot of people thought that Yan actually won that fight.
Won that fight.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think so. That should be sort of the title eliminator, and they fight the winner between Marab and Umar, because Peter Yan faced 49 takedown attempts against Marab. Marab was able to secure a dozen of those, and it was a one-sided affair. I don't think he immediately gets that shot right now. I think that title eliminator against O'Malley, whoever wins that gets to fight the winner between Marab and Umar.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, because I know that Marab has been pushing to have the Yan fight instead of Umar, because I believe that Umar harder puzzle to solve, and he's already solved Yan. That's why I think he wants that fight.
Sure,
makes a lot of sense. I
sure.
get it, but if the UFC wants him to fight Umar, which is what they do, oh, Uncle Dana's going to get what he wants eventually.
Yeah, right.
Only a matter of time. It really is.
I'm impressed with Jan. He's come back. It looked like his career was in a little bit of trouble, losing 3 out of 4, or 3 in a row and 4 out of 5, and he just looked fantastic in this one against a very tough guy. And his takedown defense has improved so much. He's going to have to, no matter who he fights, Umar or Marab, those both guys would try to utilize that as their advantage. So I think he's looking a lot better. He's really worked on it, in my opinion. Let's talk about the co-main event. We had Yan Xiaonan, the favorite from China, facing Baby Shark Tabitha Ricci, and Yan looked incredibly superior. She just landed really amazing strikes, head, body, lots of nice kicks, and just dominated, I thought, throughout, won all 3 rounds, and deserved this victory. She was the better fighter on this night by far.
By far. She kept the fight at the distance that she wanted to have the fight at. The rare times that Ricci was able to get her to the ground, Yan proved that she was the stronger lady in the octagon and was able to stand up almost immediately. So Ricci's chance to win in this fight was the ground game, couldn't keep her grounded, and then couldn't figure out how to get inside her guard to try to keep taking her down. Yeah. That's what led to her loss and Yan's victory.
I like that Yan kept pointing down to the middle of the cage like Max Holloway does, and it's a tough girl. She called out Zheli Wang, and was able to have her cage side right away, jump up and accept it. And I think it would be great to see those 2 girls fight again.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. I think that's the best fight going forward for Weili Zhang.
Let's do it. Yeah. She's won 3 out of the last 4 and looked fantastic doing so. Okay, the fight between Muslim Salikov and Song Kenan, very, very great performance from Muslim. He got $50K for his knockout. It was just almost 4 minutes into the 4th round. That spinning wheel kick, he's actually done that on a couple of occasions. Number of times, but on a couple of occasions to get the KO like that. Threw a couple unnecessary punches to finish it off. Unreal. His nickname is the King of Kung Fu. They call him Master Mu in China, and wow. It's coming, but you just can't stop it. He did it again, and incredible for an old veteran to still be relevant, getting huge victories like this.
Clean, precise KO, and when he does that spinning attack, there's no tell. Yeah. So they're like, Song was he was at his mercy, literally.
Unreal. And yeah, that was picture perfect and incredible. Um, okay. Gabby Fernandez also got 50K bonus for her win. She was a massive underdog. Um,
Massive,
Massive underdog. Yeah.
massive.
It was one of the biggest underdog wins I've seen in the history, really. They call her Wang Tong. She was undefeated coming in, and Gabby was able to get the submission victory about 4 minutes into the second round. I was blown away. Was she was able to take her back, just able to drop her with a left hand, get her back, sink in the rear naked choke, and force the tap when she put her on her face. Just unreal. I really wish I would have bet on Gabby. I would have been pretty damn happy because I would have been rich
Yeah.
today.
Oh no, man, you would have been loaded today. But the fact that Kong was winning this fight, going away easily,
Yeah,
but I think she got a little bit into her head. She started showboating, and she was disrespecting her opponent.
yeah.
And once that came into play, she missed like what was it, a head kick or the punch that dropped her? But whatever did,
It was a
yeah,
punch.
Fernandez jumped on it, got the rear naked choke finish, got on her back, got that finish. But the fact that she was almost, you could say, possibly celebrating before the fight was over, that was her downfall.
Yeah.
That was her downfall.
Yeah, she landed a head kick and then
Yeah.
Gabby used it to toss her down to the ground and
Yeah.
then yeah, she got up briefly and then a left hand dropped her. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it's sort of the beginning of the end. Pretty amazing. And Gabby said that she actually felt like she broke her hand, broke her foot before this, and was in a lot of trouble. And so she said it was incredible that it turned around. And it was actually even bigger odds for her to get a submission win. It was plus 3,000 to get a submission
Oh,
win.
oh,
So
oh
I
my
hope
God.
somebody put that bet down and is very happy better going forward. And
Happy man.
yeah, and amazing. I really look forward to the Volkan Ozdemir Carlos Ulberg fight. I thought both these guys were two of the elite guys in the division and should be a hell of a good fight. And it turned out to be. I loved it. Tell me what you thought of the fight.
I thought it was a great fight. I thought that Ulberg really showed incredible hand speed and power, and the fact that he was able to withstand Ozdemir's leg kicks, which are absolutely brutal,
Yeah,
and any of the shots that Ozdemir gave him, he was able to absorb and fire back immediately.
yeah.
Like fire back immediately. I thought that he hurt Ozdemir a couple times here and there in the exchanges. He got the better of the exchanges. He got the win.
Yeah, yeah, well said. Yeah, man, Ulberg is tough. That's 7 wins in a row. Um, he will take his number 8 ranking, and he's got the longest active win streak in the UFC. Huge win over a veteran in Volkan, who's fought for the belt before. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see who's next for Ulberg. Can't wait. We got another 50K bonus handed out to the Mountain Tiger. Zhang Ming Yang beat Ozzy Diaz. Another great victory with by KO 2.5 minutes into the first round. He they both threw a left at exactly the same time. He just sort of shifted off to the side and was able to land it, drop Diaz to the ground and pounded him until referee Kevin Sataki waved it off. 18th win with 18th first round stoppage. Man, he's tough, and I don't think a lot of guys are going to be holding their hand up in the light heavyweight division to take him on.
No, no, they're not. And I at first I thought it was the left hand that dropped Diaz. It was the left elbow.
The elbow.
And the
Yeah,
fact that he snuck it in the way that he did, like
right.
It was a thing of beauty.
That
It was
was
a
an
thing of beauty,
amazing
and
shot.
yeah, was just he was done after that. Done.
Amazing,
Some
amazing
ground and
moment.
pound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
26 years old. Really screamed out that he wants a top 15 ranked opponent. He wants to knock them off. Then he wants a title fight. He wants lots of money, and he was able to get a 50K bonus for this. Look out. This guy is on an incredible run. There were supposed to be four of these Road to the UFC tournament finales. One of them got canceled, but they ended up having three of them, and two of them had two of the greatest knockouts that you're ever going to see. Um, the uh, the first one that we're going to talk about was the feature fight on the prelim card, and this ended up being a decision victory from Yu Su Young, and I was impressed by him. Um, Definitely got the deserved the UFC contract, and yeah, back and forth, really good battle, but he deserved the victory.
Yeah, because I believe you actually hurt Jalise at some point in time in this fight, and that caused Jalise to literally shell up,
Yeah.
and then he didn't throw
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
And he was active still, and that's how he won the fight. Like literally, it was about being active, about throwing strikes. And Jalise, I think he was super worried about what was coming back at him, takedowns, all of that stuff. So he really bottled up, and then he didn't throw anything, and
True.
that's how he lost.
That was it. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's talk about the flyweight tournament finale. Do Hung Choi from South Korea ends up beating Kairu Sahotra. It was an incredible three-punch combo that dropped Sahota. Just an absolutely massive knockout. 236 into the first round. Still undefeated, and wow, wow, what a way to get yourself a UFC contract. So this one is going to be shown on highlight reels for a long, long time.
Long, long time. It was absolutely spectacular. And he managed to catch Sahota, who had a pretty awkward movement style.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was able to catch him the way that he did, very, very impressive.
Yeah. And we talked about this briefly before, but let's mention it again. Ming Shi gets a victory over Feng Zhao Can. Ming Shi, just a little meek little strawweight girl. One of the most spectacular KO knockouts you're ever going to see. 46 seconds into round three with a head kick that dropped her and put her to sleep for a while, put her in the hospital. She's a doctor in China, and her parents don't know that she fights. Now they probably will. She's in the UFC full time, and got a big bonus, gets a contract, and yeah, just such a small girl, you were not expecting something this spectacular to come out of her.
No, and by the way, she was losing that fight up to that point.
Right.
Zhao Can definitely had the fight in hand, was keeping her at distance.
Yeah.
Ming was having a hard time trying to find her way in to get her strikes off. But when she landed that head kick knockout, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of shades of Edwards when he knocked out Usman.
Oh yeah.
He just needed the one shot.
The one shot.
She took
yeah.
her shot, and
Yeah.
she made it count.
Yeah, good
for her.
call. Yeah, definitely was very like that. Definitely. So, yeah, got her victory, and that's why we do love these tournaments. Why we do love a lot of the Dana White Contender Series. Looking for a fight, tough. We like the road to the octagon, the road to UFC, because these people get their opportunity, get their shot, and she pulled victory from the jaws of defeat and changed her life. And it was a spectacular knockout that we're going to see for years to come, because they don't often come so, immediate walk off where you KO'd that person, and they end up in the hospital.
Yeah, no, they don't come like that often. And the fact that she didn't need to follow up with any strikes because her opponent was out.
Gone.
Kind of scary. Glad to hear that she's actually okay. but it was quite the knockout. Quite
Yeah.
the knockout.
Okay. What else do you want to mention out of the rest of the fights? You
Uh,
want to talk about
I,
some of the other guys?
I will mention the guy that impressed me the most out of the rest of the fights that I really liked, who I loved actually, was Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Kavanaugh and Ochoa. Kavanaugh was, well, actually, both fighters were very impressive. Both fighters are on the rise, young up and comers. I think they were both undefeated. Somebody had to lose their O. Kavanaugh was exceptionally impressive.
Yeah.
His Muay Thai, his stand up, the speed of his kicks, the speed of his punches, his combination strike, all of it top tier. I think he's definitely somebody to keep an eye on going forward. I think he's going to make a lot of noise in his division.
Yeah, I loved him in the Dana White Contender Series. He got a really spectacular knockout to actually get the contract, get the opportunity at this fight, and yeah, the kid out of London, he's looking fantastic. That was impressive. He dropped Ochoa on a couple of occasions, and yeah, he's a guy that's it's going to be fun to watch. He's brings a lot to the cage, and yeah, I'm glad we finally get to see him after that Dana White Contender Series fight. I was hoping to see him soon, and it seemed like it had been a while. So yeah, fantastic card. Loved actually a lot of it. Too bad it was such a crazy time and it lasted so long, but there was a lot of fights to really like on the UFC card. And we have a 1 week break before we have UFC 310 coming up in a couple weeks. So nothing to preview coming up. That UFC 310 should be great with Pantoja against the newcomer Kai Asakura.
Asakura. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be a very fun fight to check out.
That'll be a very fun fight. But the fight that I'm really looking forward to, the fight that I absolutely want to see, is who's going to lose their O with Ian Machado, Gary Villain, against Shavkat Rachmanov, hero. And yeah, I think you can already tell who I'm going for, Rachmanov. And I just think it's going to be an excellent, excellent fight. It's going to be very highly contested, a lot of skill, and also a lot of will.
Yeah.
It's going to be shown in that fight.
Um, just before we go, I want to mention that the PFL 10 is happening this Friday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This is their final card of the season, and where all the 6 weight classes will be getting the $1 million purse for the victors. This is the first time they're holding it outside the US, and there should be some really, really good fights. Brendan Loughnane is fighting the Dagestani fighter Timur Kizriez, and that'll be a hell of a fight. Also, Tyla Santos, she fought for the UFC flyweight title in June of 2022 against Valentina Shevchenko. She left the UFC almost right after that, and is now 3-0 in the PFL. She's in the final for the flyweight division there, chasing the $1 million purse. And also former UFC fighter Impa Kasanganay, he goes for the $1 million for the light heavyweight division. He's been, since he left the UFC, 8-1 in the PFL. He won $1 million last year, 2023. This time last year, he was living in his car outside the gym for 6 months after he got cut from the UFC. Didn't have any money. Was able to get into the PFL. He's won 8 of 9. Won the $1 million last year. Trying to chase the $1 million again this year.
That's impressive. Like that's just super impressive that he's been that successful after that ridiculous Buckley knockout that he's known for.
Yeah.
Where he did the jumping back kick to the face. Like the fact that he's been able to turn it all around, win $1 million, and get a chance to win yet another $1 million. Well, I guess that's why you go and you fight for the PFL.
Yeah.
Where you can really, literally change your life around.
Exactly. Yeah. Incredible. It's at a very strange time on Friday. So it goes 4:15 a.m. for the prelims, and that's a long let of prelims. That goes all the way to 10, and then the main card starts at 10 a.m. So we're talking a long card. We thought this past weekend was pretty crazy long. This one even seems longer. They've got all the fights from Riyadh for the international side of things, and then they have the finals for all of these. So yeah, I wouldn't tune in for the entire thing, but it's going to be pretty fun to watch the finals of all these weight division for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, you know what, like that's kind of worth waking up early. I don't know about 4:15 early, but like at least like 7 or 8, you wake up and then you can watch some great fights from the PFL.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, last moment, or last thing I want to mention before we go. Yusei Kikuchi from the Toronto Blue Jays. Well, Toronto Blue Jays dealt Yusei at the end of the year last year to the Houston Astros. He signed a huge deal today with the LA Angels, 3 year, $63 million deal. And he was fantastic with Houston after he left Toronto and was able to parlay that into a really big deal. Lots of deals are coming now. Free agent frenzy is happening in baseball. The Juan Soto watch is getting closer and closer and closer. $600 to $650 million is coming his way. Looks like the 4 front runners now are the Yankees staying, the crosstown rival Mets, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox. So we'll see. Super agent Scott Boras is shopping the 26-year-old all around, and I'm sure he's going to get him some massive money. I would say the deal's probably going to be consummated this week.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that the Blue Jays are in the mix for that because I didn't think they have the money to be in the mix, but apparently they do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, they charge us a lot of money for cell phones, for cable, for
Yeah,
Rogers,
yeah,
has a lot of money. So
dude.
that's
Yeah.
it. And in a no-brainer, today was announced that Aaron Judge won the American League MVP, and guess who won the National League MVP?
Oh man, was that guy by the name of Shohei? Could it have been him?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just a guess. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
so yeah, everyone knew it was going to happen, but they did finally make the announcement today. I don't know why it takes so long for baseball to make those announcements, but yeah,
Especially when it's pretty obvious.
yeah,
It's pretty obvious.
yeah, should have just done it a while back, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, man. Well, it's time to call it a night. Thanks so much for coming in and being a trooper after a long day of work. Get some sleep and have a great day tomorrow, and we'll talk soon, man. Have a great week.
All right, you too as well. Have a good one.
Okay. Cheers, bud. Bye for now.
Cheers.
Okay, well, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. As always, appreciate your support and your time and patience. And sorry we had that little glitch in the middle, but hopefully you can fast forward through that. And yeah, have a great week ahead. Hope you're able to catch some of those Thanksgiving Day games and the Black Friday game and all the other things that are happening around the world of sports. Enjoy the NBA Cup stuff back on the court tomorrow and Friday this week. So love you guys lots. Thanks all. Thanks again for all your support, and want to thank our partners and sponsors. Want to thank Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. Want to thank Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, Pampas and Possibilities, and of course Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. So get them on our website at discounted rates. So take care. Have a great week ahead. Enjoy the sports, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.